to another episode of Voices to Hear. I'm Fiona, an atheist, and I'm here to talk about religion with Wijdane and Helene. Can you introduce yourselves?
Hello everyone, I'm Wijdane and I'm a Muslim. I'm 26 years old and I'm French.
Hi everyone, I'm Helene, I'm Christian and I'm from Germany and I'm 18 years old.
Before we start, there's a little of a disclaimer because it's important to add that the things that are going to be said are mostly opinions and shouldn't be considered pure facts. So, in both of your religions, Islam and Christianity, celebrations are coming up, Ramadan and Easter. What is Ramadan? What do you celebrate?
Basically, Ramadan is a month in Islam. So it's the 9th month of the calendar. And basically, we fast for a month. And so we eat during the night, basically, and we fast during the day. So it's very religious because it's a month of purity, let's say, where you just get closer to God and you kind of get rid of all your sins. Yeah, it's really close to religion, but it's also a very festive moment. At least that's how I feel about it. And you share meals every night of the entire month with your family. You eat together, you pray together, you read the Quran together, and you just get closer to God as a family. So it's a really, really nice moment. And it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So it's a very important thing as a Muslim.
Why do you fast? What is like the reason behind it?
So yeah, basically we celebrate the day where the Quran was revealed by the angel Gabriel to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the prophet of Islam.
What is a prophet?
A prophet?
Yes.
Let's talk about Muhammad first of all. Let's say he taught the principles of Islam to the people around him, and he's basically the person that we want to follow in a way, like the life of the prophet, the way the prophet experienced religion and the way he behaved about Islam is called Sunnah. And this is usually what, like the principles that you want to adapt to your life and the way you want to be. So you just follow the Sunnah, you follow the way the prophet would do things. So yes, it's basically the person that just embodied the religion first and embodied it in a perfect way. He wasn't a perfect human, but he embodied the religion in a perfect way. So we really respect him. Mm-hmm. It's really different, I think, with Christianity because Jesus has kind of the similar role as the Prophet Muhammad, but we respect the Prophet. It's really important to us. He's really important to us. But we don't envision it as Christian would see Jesus, like basically as the Son of God.
Okay. And is it difficult to fast for you?
Well, you start fasting when you reach puberty. So for a girl, when you got your period for the first time. And when you're smaller than that, you can kind of try to fast as much as you can. It's like a game that you can play just to get used to it. So I've been fasting since I'm actually really fasting since I'm maybe 9-10 years old because I wanted to do it before. I saw my brothers do it and I really wanted to do it as well. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing it for a very long time. So no, it's not hard. It can be hard. Like there was a period of time where it was during summer when it was really hot. So you would get really thirsty. But anger itself, when you're used to being angry for a month, you just get used to it, Like the first couple of days are a bit hard, but because you're used to it, you just go back to the routine of it. And no, it's not that hard. Once you're used to it, it's not that hard.
Okay. And you pray during the month as well?
Yeah, definitely. Right? So you have still your 5 prayers a day, and you have what we call tarawih, which is when you pray during the entire night, basically. You can go to the mosque. Women are not obligated to go to the mosque. They're actually encouraged to pray at home because they don't have to go there. But yeah, it is a month of faith and a month of purity. So it is the time where you want to really respect your prayers and do the best you can.
And you pray in the direction of
Mecca.
Mecca.
Yeah. You want to know what is Mecca?
Yes, what is the meaning of Mecca?
Mecca is the place where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born. So it's a really, really holy place for Muslims. And it's basically the place where religion started. Like it's, we have like the Kaaba, which is like the place where the first Muslims started to pray. So it's a really, really holy place. And like you pray in the direction of Mecca.
So you would like to go there as well?
Yeah, of course I would like to. It is kind of a Muslim dream, I guess. When you're a Muslim, this is your kind of your goal, to go there, to fulfill all the pillars of your religion.
What are the other pillars?
So you have fasting, so the month of Ramadan. You have zakat, which is when you help the poor and you give money, basically. The prayers, so praying 5 times a day. Doing your pilgrim. And the 5th one is niyyah, basically having the willingness to be a Muslim.
Okay. So I think basically my next question is already like answered from you, but do you like Ramadan, or is there something that you don't like about it? Like something that maybe bother you?
To be honest, like nothing really bothers me about it because like I said, it's a month of celebration, a month where you gather with your family. I have one of my best memories during Ramadan. Just imagine Christmas lasting for a month. Like to me, it is the same. The fasting thing, of course, there is like a challenge to it, of course. But when you're really used to it, it is such a little price to pay for all the moments that you share and the way your faith just grows during that month. So no, honestly, there's no like really bad part about it.
Helena, you are a Catholic Christian, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What is Easter? What do you celebrate?
We celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. Basically, he came back from death. And that's the main celebration of Easter. A bit like Ramadan also, we fast 40 days. Actually, I think 46 days before Easter. Starting from Green Thursday. I don't know if that's the right translation, but so we fast as well. I don't know how it was originally, but now it's more like people decide on something that's very dear to them and they fast on that. For example, I don't know.
Candies?
In candies, for example, if you're a child or different things. But of course, the more you're in the religion, the more stricter it is. And people don't eat certain stuff and everything. Then after these 40 days, break your fast and it's Easter. And before that, the Friday before Easter. Easter is every year on a Sunday. And the Friday before is Good Friday, I think, in English. But that's the day Jesus died. So it's like the most sad day, I would say, in Christianity. And then on the Sunday after that, so 3 days after he died, he was resurrected and rose up from the dead, came back from the dead and rose up to God's right side.
Okay. And how do you celebrate it? What do you have traditions with your family?
We always come together on Easter, on the weekend of Easter, basically. And nowadays it's connected to I think everyone knows Easter eggs and the Easter bunnies. So because we have a lot of children, that's also always involved. But it's mainly also we go to church on the Good Friday, which is a very long mass. And then on Saturday in the night, there's the Easter Mass, which lasts from Saturday until midnight. So Saturday to Sunday. And then on Saturday, you basically celebrate with your family. You eat, look for the eggs and everything. But I think that's different where you celebrate and with whom you celebrate and everything. And there are a lot of traditions that differ from family to family and from also which is common, or which is one of the traditions is to sacrifice a lamb, because the lamb is the most purest thing, so it's stands for Jesus in Christianity, or people do certain baked goods and stuff. But it's different. There are a lot of traditions. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Easter is also on a different date every year, right?
Yes.
Do you, by any chance, know why?
It's the first Sunday after the full moon, after the where the night and the days the same time.
Yeah.
There's some certain day, I don't know how it's
I
called.
think it's the 21st of March, I think.
I'm not sure, but something like this. But that could be wrong, but I think it has something to do with when Pascha Feast in Judaism was celebrated.
Okay.
And then 3 days from that, and somehow they, like, the historians
Did the math. Okay, but it relates to the moon, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
It basically comes from Pascha Feast.
But it's similar to Islam, right? Because it also varies each year.
I didn't know that Easter was based on the moon as well. But it's exactly this. The Muslim calendar is based on the moon. And so why the Muslim symbol is the moon. And it's, basically the calendar just kind of always changes. It's a circle. That's why, like, Ramadan is always the same month of the year, but it just goes up every time. Like, every year, it just kind of goes up in the, let's say, European calendar, basically. You know? Yeah. So basically, it just goes up on the Gregorian calendar because of the moon. So everything is based on the moon. Even like the day we start Ramadan, we know the actual day we start a day before that, and it's also based on the moon.
Okay, I wanted to ask you. You said that you already said that you go to the church on Easter or also on other celebrations. Do you feel closer to your religion or God when you are there?
I would say yes, because it's just a different feeling when you're in church together with so many people. I mean, they call it the house of God, so it's like, so of course, and also it just feels different. For example, I haven't been a lot to these masses on the Good Friday because they're very late. And when I was younger, it was like too late. My parents didn't want me to go. But at the time when I was going, it feels just very special when you're a very long time in church. And it's like, it's late and everyone is just there in mourning basically because Jesus died on that day. So of course you feel also because you're just in a community and you're all basically also what Wijdane said, that you celebrate all together and that it brings people together, and so you feel closer to God and to your religion.
Okay.
Also because when you're everywhere else, I think it's easy to forget about the religion. Like you go to your day and you do this, but when you're in church, you cannot forget because you're like
there.
Yeah.
And Wijdane mentioned Mecca. Like Mecca is really important in Islam. Do you have something similar in Christianity that could be like compared to that?
I would definitely say Bethlehem because he died there and there is his grave. And so people also pilgrim there or walk there to visit his grave and there's a church also there. This is, I think, the place you could most compare to Mecca.
Yeah. But it's not like you as a Christian really want to go there?
Oh, I do. Also.
You do? Oh, okay.
But I think there are also like different pilgrim ways that a lot of Christians do.
Around the world, right?
Yeah. I think also because, Christianity has a lot of saints, so people travel to wherever the saints are buried or where they were born or anything. So, for example, the Jacob's Way.
I think it's called Way of St. James.
Yeah, or like that. I don't know. I just know the German thing. But I think, where Jesus was buried is the main thing, Bethlehem. And also just because, the city of Bethlehem has such an importance in Christianity.
Yeah. And my last question to you specifically would be like, do you like Easter? Is there something that you dislike?
No, I like Easter a lot. Of course, because you get together with the family, but also I think most people forget or are not aware that it is not Christmas, but Easter is the main celebration of Christianity because, of course, on Christmas Jesus was born, which is amazing.
Yes.
But on Easter he came back from the death, which is even crazier. So I think people often, especially if you're not that Christian or if you're not Christian at all, because Christmas is such a big thing also for non-Christian people.
Like, it's a more cultural.
It's a more cultural and word thing. I don't know, but Easter is like the main celebration, I would say, even though maybe it's not that big celebrated.
As we both know, Germany is predominantly Christian.
Yes.
Does that make the following of your religion easier? If you would go and hypothetically live in a completely different country like India, where Hinduism is more predominant, would that make it harder?
I mean, I cannot say for sure, of course, because I've never lived in a country where Christianity is not the main religion. But I think, of course, it makes, I think, a huge difference that the whole country celebrates. Also that you have free on that day. It's like,
yeah, true.
For example, if you're Muslim in Germany, you have to go to work normally. So it's not like a national celebration. So, of course, I think it makes it easier and different also that the whole country basically is celebrating, even though, of course, not the whole country is celebrating. And I think most people just like eat chocolate a lot.
Yeah. It's just a different feeling. Yeah.
But
how is it for you? Did you ever celebrate a Muslim tradition in Morocco? Was it any different to celebrate Ramadan or any other tradition in France?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I did celebrate Ramadan once in Morocco, of course. And yeah, it's completely different. There's a lot of Muslims in France, but France is a country where there's no main religion. Like, they just separated the religion from the state.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, there's a lot of Muslims, but exactly like Helena said, on Sunday, we usually don't work because it's the day of God. It has nothing to do with Islam. You're not allowed to hear the adhan, so the prayer call by that you hear from the mosques. In France, is really different than in Macedonia. For example, in Macedonia, you can hear it. We don't hear it in France. So yes, of course, it's really, really different. So just realize that in Morocco, during Ramadan, you know that your neighbors are celebrating Ramadan, and you go to a shop and you know that, maybe this butcher is going to be closed because he's celebrating Ramadan, And in France, it's not like this. Like, you are fasting and you are living with people and working with people usually that are not. So it's really different. You have a lot of curiosity, which sometimes is really interesting, and you answer questions. But of course, it's very different. It's really enjoyable to be able to celebrate it with other people and to acknowledge the fact that a lot of people around you are actually celebrating it. It's really enjoyable. In France, it's not like this, but it's still okay. Like, there's no, usually you just bump into people that are just really curious, and it's really interesting to talk about it anyways. So yeah, I love to spend it in Morocco, but doing it in France, it maybe adds just a little bit of a challenge more. Yeah. But that's it.
Okay. What is the most important part about like the whole celebrations, not just Easter or Ramadan, any other traditions for you? Is it the religion itself, or just coming together with your family and your loved ones? And
I think for me personally, it changed over the years because, of course, when I was a child, I didn't understand. So it was like on Christmas, I get presents, and on Easter, I get chocolate. So that was nice. And also, of course, the getting together and everything. But I think the older you get and the more you understand, the more you also appreciate just the religious part actually of the celebration. Of course, still it wouldn't be the same if you wouldn't get together with people. That's still a huge part because you can just celebrate better if you're like together with family and friends and everything. But also, I think just the actual meaning of the celebration is like important, and the older you get, the more you understand it.
I feel like it's kind of the same as Elena. Like, when I was little, it was about having a big feast at the end of the day, especially when you're not actually fasting when you're a child, and you're just eating really good for a month with your entire family. So like, Ramadan is great because it kind of, I don't like that word, but it kind of gives you an excuse to get closer to God, when during the year you feel like you kind of drifted away, sorta, or you weren't that focused and you were maybe focused on other things in your life. It's really like the best time to get closer to God and to like get pure again and to just like let go of your sins and all that bothers you basically, and to cleanse yourself in a way. And so to me, it is definitely the best part. This is the main purpose of it. But of course, eating really good is really nice. There's also something around Ramadan. It's you also, because you're fasting all day, the main purpose is not at the end of the day to like just eat so much that you cannot take it anymore. There's actually another meaning, like you should, it's a month of restraint, and you should try not to eat too much, not to spend too much, not to eat all the things that you desire, With culture, sometimes it just kind of gets mixed up because it's still a month of celebration, So usually people do like really big feast every night, but it's not actually how Ramadan is supposed to be. But it is how it's evolved, let's say, with culture and with the fact that you share a meal with your family and whatever. So it is a good part of Ramadan. It is a really enjoying part, the eating part, but it's really not what it is about. At the end of the day, it's really just getting close to God. And so, this is my favorite part of it.
The religion. Yeah. Okay, nice.
I have 2 questions for Wijdane. First of all, maybe you said it and I forgot why I didn't hear because, I don't know. I think at the end of Ramadan, right, there's this big celebration called Eid. And is there something behind that? Like, is it like Christmas that, I don't know, someone died or was born? Or is it just basically...
It's over.
It's over and...
Go back
that.
To like...
And the celebration is the month?
Well, it's kind of... So basically we just end the month of fasting with Eid, but we have 2 different Eids actually. We have the one where we sacrifice the lamb, and we have like the small one, let's say, at the end of Ramadan. So which one is the celebration between the month and the actual end of it? I could not say, but I visualize it personally as a month of celebration, like because you eat again, you share moments with your family and you eat together for a month. And then there's like the celebration of the fact that you succeeded in doing this month of fasting. So I guess it's not 2 different things, but kind of, like you won't really celebrate the same thing at the end of the day. But they're both celebrations, basically, for the month of Ramadan. Like you celebrate Ramadan, let's say, and when it's finished and you know that you actually accomplished something, then you celebrate again, because we like to celebrate.
The second question, you already talked a bit about it, but in Christianity, I think also because it's such a common thing in the Western world, especially, like it's basically also like in the States and everything, that all the celebrations got very commercialized.
There's a lot about consumerism.
Santa Christmas, what is that? Everything. Mm. I also do Santa Christmas, but it's not related to the actual thing. So I want to ask if it's in more Muslim countries the same, because I don't have any relation to that, so I could not see if something would be like that or not, if you understand what I mean.
Okay, yeah. I feel like, it's a really good question. I feel like I couldn't really tell you about Muslim countries because, okay, so how it is that during Ramadan, you usually prepare food that are, for me, for example, I'm from Morocco. And so we would prepare Moroccan food during Ramadan, If I was in Morocco, the things that I would buy in Morocco are things that every people buy because it's like the Moroccan food. When I buy it in France, it's really different. And yes, there's a lot of advertisements around Ramadan in France. So you have a lot of promotions of the things that you usually use to prepare when you prepare the typical foods that you eat during Ramadan. So there's a lot of advertising on that. I guess in some Muslim countries it must be the same. You must have advertisements for Ramadan for food as well. Probably yes. I didn't really experience it, but yes. And I think that's the thing. It's with every religious celebrations, like everything is an excuse for marketing. You know what I mean? Like, of course, when it comes to consumerism, Ramadan is a month where you don't eat and you celebrate at night and you eat with your family. So of course it's about food. So we're going to advertise that. And it's the same for Easter. Like we eat chocolate. So let's put a lot of marketing to sell our chocolates, you know, like it's the same thing. I guess marketing is a different thing. Like with marketing, any excuse is good to push the sales. So of course religion is a big part of it because there's a lot of religious people. So it's not really that surprising, you know. And yes, of course, it's the same thing with Ramadan.
Would you say your religion is very strict, especially for young people? And is it very strict on you? And do you like it like that and not like bind to Ramadan or Easter, just like in general?
Okay. I feel like Islam is usually seen as a very strict religion, but to me, it's like the rules are kind of the same in every religion, you know? And you can call it strict because, of course, like God gave you rules that you should follow, but why those rules exist is there's always a reason for that, and it's because it will bring you something good, you know? Like there's always a purpose to those rules. So I don't envision religion as something strict. I would envision it as God created me. God created Earth. God created all the people that I love. And it's such a small price to pay to pray 5 times a day. And because again, praying brings you something. It's such a small price to pay to have a month of celebration with your family, eating when you have to fast just to learn control over yourself. It's such a small price to pay to not eat pork. You know what I mean? I wouldn't use the word strict, to be honest. I kind of understand why some people see it like this. But again, to me, it's just, you know, trying to return what God gave me, which I would never be able to because you cannot return life. So yeah, I wouldn't see it that strict. I would just see it as I love God, He loves me, and let's just try to be the best person possible. It's also something that I say a lot, you know, when people like visualize Islam, they always think about the things that you cannot do, like the rules that, like the thing you should avoid, you know? And it's not like this with other religions, I feel like. I don't know why, but when people think about Islam, you know, the first thing that will come to their mind is, oh, so you don't eat pork. Oh, so you need to pray 5 times a day. Oh, so you need to do Ramadan. You need to fast. Is it hard? And of course, it's really good questions. And of course, it's things that you should like really pay attention to, and it's important stuff about religion. But to me, religion is not that. Religion is being someone good, being good to others, loving as much as you can, respecting people, trying to be the best version of yourself. This is what religion is, you know. Like the Quran is like 20% things that you shouldn't do, rules that you should apply to your life, and all the rest is just about well-being and being good to others and the story behind everything that happened, and you know. And so I really don't understand why always people see the things that you cannot do, because again, I said it a million times already, but doing those things is such a small price to pay for when you have faith, you know. God is never trying to restrain you and like make you uncomfortable. Or it's never the purpose. There's always a reason why. Of course, the first reason should always be God told me to do it, so I should do it. You know, this should be the first reason. It's a reason enough to me. But of course, there's something behind it. You know, like Ramadan is to teach you control. It's to teach you restraint, to cleanse your body. You know, there's a lot of studies about fasting that it's really good for your body. It's really cleansing. Not eating pork, there's also like a lot of scientific reasons to that. Praying 5 times a day, this is my therapy. I don't need a therapist because I pray 5 times a day. Because when having the opportunity to talk to God is such a relief. So again, there's a reason behind everything, every rules that we have.
I think Wijdane basically said the main points. I wouldn't say Christianity is strict, and I think people don't receive it receive it as strict as well. I think probably also because I'm in Germany, maybe, and there
it's more loose.
It's more loose, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like Wijdane said, everything that is maybe should or could be considered strict is not something stupid. Like, I don't know.
It's there for a reason.
It's there for a reason. And basically, every rule is there for a reason. So why should the rule made by God not be there for a reason? So, and I mean, many rules that come from God also apply like to normal society, like don't murder people. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's strict. And as Wijdane says, if you know God loves you and you love God, you just do it. It's nothing hard. Of course, it's hard still because no one is like, or not no one, but you can't expect from someone to be like that deep into their religion already. Like many people, me as well, sway. You know, it's like sometimes you're not sure, sometimes this and sometimes that, but just like always to try. It could be that I'm just not answering the question right now. But,
no, that's totally fine.
But yes, I've never felt it as strict.
Okay.
But I also can see when people, I don't know, that don't come from Christianity, like read stuff and are like, oh my God, why? And why is that? And blah, blah, blah.
Okay. We talked a lot about differences in both of your religion, Islam and Christianity. I think they are, from my outside perspective, your religion are different in many ways. You have different traditions, saints, prophets, or the same people are just have different meanings in your religions. I think they also have many similarities, like you believe in one God, only one. There is Jesus, and your celebrations are based on the moon, and you do have pilgrimage. So do you think that Islam and Christianity were once one big religion and now they're just variations?
I don't think so. Not because of Islam. I mean, Christianity comes from Judaism, which I think from the three big religions is the oldest one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's obviously older than Christianity because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. And I think after that, somehow, somewhere, Islam came from. But
from my research, I think, yes, Judaism was the first, and then Christianity came in like the 1st century, and Islam after that.
So first Judaism, then Christianity, and I think then after that, I don't know from where exactly, but Islam came. But you can probably tell us that right now because I'm not good at history.
Okay, me to answer the question. I feel like, to me, yes, definitely. There was Judaism, and there was then Christianity, and then there was Islam. And to me, Islam is basically the Torah and the Bible together, plus the life of a prophet, and the little differences, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like we have Jesus, for example, Isa, and the only difference is that he's not the son of God, he's a prophet, but we believe in him and we respect him. And so, yeah, to me, it's just like everything is assembled, you know? And there was one period of time, and this is my perspective as a Muslim, but it's just that we had the Torah and it was kind of modified and facts happened. And then we had the Bible and there was the kings that were changing the Bible or whatever. And so like the Quran came. This is what Muslims believe. Quran came to like kind of rectify everything and be like, okay, those facts are true. This is a little bit more different than what it was before. This is like this, you know. But at the end of the day, it's the same principles for every religion. Like you have one God, you believe in God.
For most of the religions.
Yeah, like for the monotheist religions. You believe in God, and like usually the rules are kind of the same, you know, you don't kill people, you're nice to people, you behave well, you try to give to the people in need, you try to not hurt your body because it isn't completely yours. You know, like basically the generality of it is the same. The principle of it is the same. God loves me. I love God. And I want to respect him by doing all the things that he asked me to do, which are things that help make the world better in a way. And yes, of course, religions brought a lot of conflicts, but to me, it's not religion, it's people. So, but yes, to me, it is the same. It is the same. That's every time that's what I say. It's, to me, as long as you believe in God, this is the most important thing, you know?
I changed my mind. Wishdane's right. Because, okay, yeah, maybe I also didn't understand the question straight, but yes, it makes sense because it's quite similar.
But you are allowed to have your own opinion.
Yeah, of course, I changed my own opinion.
Thank you so much for this podcast. I really enjoyed it. Even if I don't believe in God, this is very interesting still. And maybe it's also interesting for you to know that this podcast was inspired by a previous conversation that we already had when we all went to Ochet, the hostel, with someone we just met and talked about religion until 5 a.m. And drank tea, which is a really nice memory. And yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Voices to hear.